team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL fined the Falcons $250,000 and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich $100,000 for Ulbrich's 21-year-old son making a prank phone call to Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. The fines were for failing to prevent the disclosure of confidential information distributed to the club in advance of the draft. The Warriors listing small forward Jimmy Butler as probable for Game 5 against the Rockets tonight with a pelvic contusion. Butler's played a major role in helping give Golden State a commanding 3-1 lead in that NBA first-round playoff series. ESPN NBA analyst Chiney Ogwumike.
Jimmy Butler has done a tremendous job, especially when switching out onto Jalen Green, who, other than that 38-point game, has been averaging 8 points per game, 29% from the field he's been shooting, and 2 for 14 from 3. And, of course, everyone was celebrating Draymond Green, who held Alperen Şengün as well to 3 of 13 shooting while he was on the floor.
Timberwolves take a 3-1 lead into Game 5 tonight against the Lakers, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. WNBA, Minnesota rookie Aubrey Griffin will undergo arthroscopic knee surgery tomorrow. No timetable for a return.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, the Clippers face an elimination game at home. I'll tell you why all the pressure is on James Harden to get it done. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
LSU basketball just landed a
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
A transfer.
Hump day.
We'll tell you about him.
It's hump day.
Easton Kilty.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He signed with the Saints.
Hump day.
He'll be here in hour 3.
It's hump day.
Tony Catalina wine mixer.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He covers Texas A&M.
Hump day.
He'll be here next hour.
It's hump day.
Taylor Calandro talking biz.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Ross Dellinger talking about college athletes getting paid.
Hump day.
And all that other jazz.
It's hump day.
All right, a lot to do. Glad you're hanging out with us here on this hump day edition of AFR. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
A smidge of breaking news here as we push off from the dock 13 minutes ago. Matthew Bruni over at On 3 The Bengal Tiger reporting that Spanish forward Pablo Tamba is transferring to LSU via the portal. So Matt McMahon and his squad, they add another transfer here. He's from UC Davis. So this is a front court piece for the 25-26 season. Second for the UC Davis Aggies? UC Davis Aggies?
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, find that out. Second in scoring, 11 points per game, 5 boards, played 27.6 minutes as a starter. 6'7", 58% from the floor. So you got a 6'7" forward here, little inside-outside game. Older guy with a little international basketball experience. Really good. Check this video out that's on his Twitter. Like he takes this pass on the wing, and then he just drives the baseline, reverse jam. Oh! Let's go, Pablo. Print the shirts. Get me a jersey immediately. Put him in the dunk contest. I don't know if he's going to be any good at basketball when he gets to LSU, but that dunk was awesome. Excited to see it. So Matt McMahon's squad adds another player here via the transfer portal just days after we learned Curtis Givens, who they initially thought was going to be back. Matt McMahon even talked about it in an interview on Tiger Rag Radio that Givens was going to be back. Right as the transfer portal window was closing, Givens entered the portal. And so, as I was told, they were looking for a 2 or a 3. They were looking for someone else on the wing. But here they add a forward and a guy with some experience. So, Pablo Tamba. Yeah.
UC Davis Aggies.
Hey, how about you both? Feeling good.
That was a good pull.
How about that pull right there?
That was a good one. Not gonna lie.
You get the UCs confused a lot.
Yeah.
You know, there's Davis and there's Cal Irvine
Santa
and
Barbara.
Santa Barbara. So you got, the Anteaters
San Diego.
and the Banana Slugs and the Gauchos.
The Gauchos.
See, I got them. I got them in there, buried in the deep recesses.
UC San Diego?
Wait, UCSD. Wait, are they the Gauchos?
No, that's Santa Barbara.
No, Banana Slugs. What are the Banana Slugs?
I don't
see. This is.
I don't know that. Okay. I thought I knew the San Diego.
What's the Banana Slugs?
You want me to just type in UC Banana Slugs?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. UC Banana Slugs.
Yeah, it's gonna come up.
That is Santa Cruz. UC Santa Cruz. Sammy the Slug. That's good.
Man. I know views because back in the day when everybody used to go to Champ Sports and you'd buy the frat hat, which was the white hat with like the bars, and it'd be like, LSU, Louisiana. People would get the Banana Slugs.
Yeah.
You just look for those funny like Minutemen. And then, of course, the sophomoric people would buy the South Carolina one that just said Cox.
Right across.
No doubt. That's because it's hilarious.
It
right?
is pretty funny.
That's so funny, right? Idiots. If you owned a Cox hat, you're an idiot. Unless if you're a South Carolina fan. But if you're not from there and you just owned a hat that said Cox because you thought it was funny, you're an idiot. Grow up, idiot. All right. Funny. Pablo Tamba. Latest LSU transfer. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Tigers. LSU baseball, 10 regular season games to go. Shed a tear. But Tigers keep rolling the way they are, man. They'll be playing a lot more at the box. 2 more weekends at least. Of course, you'll have an opportunity to drink plenty of ice cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Tigers. Not too late. Had that crawfish boil. Nothing goes with a boil and those mud bugs like some Bud and Bud Light. So drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Speaking of the baseball Tigers, Havon Finney Sr. here in 7 minutes. I hadn't intent. The news of Pablo Tamba committing to LSU broke as I was in the hall, getting ready to come in here. We're going to start the show with a little recap of the baseball game, but the game ended the way that it finished, with Ethan Fry doing the honors in the bottom of the 7th inning.
3-1 pitch. Swung on high and deep to left field. Going back is Walters. Drive home safely. Grand slam for Ethan Fry, and the Tigers walk it off in the bottom of the 7th with a 15-2 run rule victory.
So, Chris Blair, LSU Sports Radio Network, one of the big conversations the past several weeks really starting with the Oklahoma game when it was 40 degrees and the wind was blowing in and there was no offense, but then LSU really struggled on the road against Auburn, and then you faced some good pitching the last couple of weeks. But it has been maybe the offense being a bit sluggish. Well, it appears as though LSU has busted out. My contention has been a lot of teams are going to struggle against elite level pitching. You didn't struggle on Sunday when Tennessee went to a bullpen day. You struggled when they had 2 first-round picks on the mound the first 2 days. Similarly, LSU handcuffed a really good offense in Tennessee. That's a good offense. You just had 2 great pitchers on the mound who were dazzling. Well, LSU didn't forget how to hit. 15 runs on 11 hits, a run rule win after LSU run ruled Tennessee on Sunday as well. And Jay Johnson, after the game, had a lot to say about the LSU offensive output these past couple of games.
Well, I think it starts with dominating your routine and being really good at the things that you can control. Pre-at-bat, in the dugout, on deck, really having yourself in control to step in the box with a clear mind, the ability between pitches to separate, and then, just being really committed to our plan, which, hopefully always leads us to a lot of free bases and a lot of hard hit balls or extra base hits when you have strong players. And then an ability to be successful no matter what the count is, no strikes, 2 strikes, the ability to execute and slow the game down offensively. I thought we ran the bases great tonight, getting to third with 1 out a lot, which allows us more scoring opportunities. And we did a good job taking advantage of them.
Everything he said is true. Also true is it's much easier to hit when you're not facing 100 from the left side. Allegedly. Tigers go to College Station this weekend with a big series ahead. We'll talk plenty more LSU baseball as we move throughout the show. It's after further review. We'll not get a quick break. Come back. Havon Finney Sr., his son, committed to LSU on Monday. We'll talk about that decision, the family living in California, their son now coming to Louisiana, how they came to that, all the recruitment, Cory Raymond, everything like that. We'll delve into that when we come back. It's AFR.
After further review.
Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. You can visit them online at yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. I would so strongly recommend, gents, if you've never done it, to at least educate yourself on the benefits of testosterone replacement therapy. It's not just TRT. There's plenty of different hormone therapies available. I know when we talk about Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, people laugh because of the funny name and the logo and all that stuff. And yes, they do have ED treatments, but the majority of what they do is hormone replacement therapy. And if you've never taken the time, it's worth it. Look at the correlation of testosterone levels with cardiovascular issues. Look at the studies with hormone levels and many different types of things from mood and beyond. You want to feel and live your best life? YourGoodwood.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the 2025 Jeep Compass Sport for only $23,995. $23,995 or 2025 Jeep Compass with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
So, I'm supposed to be announcing my top 3 schools today, but instead I'll just be committing. So with that being said, I'll be committing to LSU.
Havon Finney commits to LSU on Monday. A surprise. You heard in that announcement that he was planning to announce his top 3, decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and pick the Tigers. His dad, Havon Finney Sr., good enough to join us today from the Los Angeles area. Havon, it's good to have you. Thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing really well. I would imagine good time for your family. It was Havon's mom's birthday, as I understand. Kind of surprised there. She was sitting next to him when he picked LSU. How much of a surprise was that to you and to the family that he went ahead and committed, or was it?
For myself, it wasn't much of a surprise. You know, he planned it out and asked me if he could do it on my birthday or his mom's birthday. I said, your mom is far more important, you know. And
smart man.
You know what I mean? So we went with his mom's birthday, and we planned it out probably for a month now. We've been planning it for a month, and from there he said that he wanted to commit to LSU. He had, I think he in his heart he had known for a bit of time that this was his place, but I wanted him to do his due diligence and look at other schools and have conversation with other coaches. And, his relationship with Cory Raymond was just phenomenal. So it kind of made it easy for him.
We'll come back to Cory here in just a second, but you said he had maybe known for about a month or so. Did he know for a month or so that it was LSU, or just that he was going to commit, that you all knew he was going to commit somewhere for about the last month?
Yeah. I think for a month he had known that he was going to commit somewhere, and I think LSU just so happened to win that race within that month of time that he had known that he was going to commit.
It's interesting because here the LSU culture is so embedded. It's interwoven in people whenever they're born. So it's always interesting when LSU goes to California and gets a prospect. Let's talk a little bit about how LSU got on Havon's radar as a young player.
Yeah, well, when Havon was young, when he was younger, he mostly played receiver initially. So when he was younger, he saw guys like Odell, those guys were like, big time for him. And then, he swiftly shifted to playing defensive back. So he became like a Patrick P fan and started just kind of following it a little bit. We're here in Cali, so you see a lot of players from USC, but you don't necessarily see like the receivers and DBs that come out of USC like that. So I think it was easy for him to gravitate to a team or college where he saw guys that were successful, right? And it's funny. Let me tell you a quick story. When Havon was probably 8 or 9 years old, I'm sure there's a picture of it floating around the internet somewhere. he, we were doing like a little photo shoot of him with like different college gears and things of that nature. He wanted to wear LSU. Like I said, I'm sure you can probably find it somewhere that he is dressed up in LSU attire, LSU helmet. It's not a real LSU helmet. We had to design it as an LSU helmet. But LSU helmet, he had a jersey made, an LSU jersey made with the number 5 on it. And that's what he wore, you know what I mean? So it's been a little bit of time that he came to the liking with LSU. And then, he also had folks that he has known that attended school, like Elias Ricks and the Ricks family. We know them pretty well. So, it's been pretty an easy transition for him to really just fall in love with the school, I must say.
Man, I'm looking for the photo of an 8-year-old Havon Finney wearing the LSU gear. I'm not seeing it, but you got to send it to me if you have it handy. I would love to see it, and I'll share it along as well.
If you go to his Instagram, Havon Finney Jr. At Havon Finney Jr. on Instagram, I forgot the most recent commitment. It's like one of those little collage things. And if you just swipe, it might be the 3rd photo on there. It's the 3rd photo.
Okay.
On there.
Let's see.
Where it says committed.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Oh, dude, that helmet's about as big as his body, man.
Oh man, you see that? You see that, brother? I mean, yes, but that was what he was into LSU for quite some time. But that's he had a whole photo shoot, so that's not the only photo. That's an entire photo shoot with LSU gear on and everything, and it's a blessing to see it come full circle. Great school, great people that we've dealt with for sure, and we're just excited, man.
Havon Finney Sr. is our guest. His son, Havon Finney Jr., committed to LSU this week for the class of 2026. You mentioned Cory Raymond's role. I think everybody here is very well acquainted with Cory from his time as a player, now in his second stint as a coach at LSU. Can you kind of maybe just elaborate a little bit on what that relationship with Cory has been like for you and your family?
Man, well, first of all, I think if you're a DB and you have aspirations of going to the next level, on the field, but off the field, Cory Raymond is just a phenomenal guy. I don't know how many times Havon and I have been to Baton Rouge, but I'm going to say at least 10 times, right? And the interaction with Cory Raymond always gets better, right? You know what he knows about football. You know the guys that he's been able to coach, but he still seems very authentic and just a real guy. You know what I mean? Off the field is probably as good on the field. So he's just a good guy.
10 times been to Baton Rouge since. When was the first visit you all made, and when were you here most recently?
Our first visit to Baton Rouge was basically I want to say last year's spring game was our first time.
Man, so 10 times in about a year.
Yeah. We've been there. So yeah. So we've been able to really get to LSU several times throughout this year, and just really make it feel like home. I guess one would say. We've been able to really get there a lot. So we went to last year's spring game, this year's spring practice. We went to Bama. LSU game didn't turn out good for LSU, but it was still, we got to feel what it was like to be a part of the culture, and that was big for us.
As it turns out, LSU could use a few players on the defensive side that could help if you're there at the LSU-Alabama game. Also, what's interesting is the decision to reclassify. I as a parent, I'd imagine that's got to be tough because you're challenging. It's just the challenge that your child is going through to accelerate academically their high school career. Could you maybe walk us through that decision that you all made together for him to reclassify from 27 to 26 and how he is academically with all that?
Yeah. So, Havon, when he went to school in the 9th grade, he was a varsity starter at Sierra Canyon. And I think he knew that if I can play here in a Division I league with Sierra Canyon, I can probably, do even better like next year. And so he started to bring it up to my wife and I, and said, "Hey, if I have a great season next year, can I reclassify?" And I said, "You sure?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'd love to do it." And I think just being honest and transparent, Haven went to his college counselor without us knowing, and asked his counselor what would the process be like for him to reclassify. And once he did that, we surely got on the ball of him taking additional classes. He had to run it through the school first, which Sierra Canyon's an amazing school. They try their best to accommodate anything that's going on. And what he was able to do, start doing his classes and started that process. And the rest is history.
Wow.
So that's where we are now. Yep.
He's an ambitious kid. If he took that on himself to say, "I'm going to go try to graduate early."
Yeah. It's him and another kid that you guys probably heard of, Richard Wesley. They both did it the same way. They just kind of went to the college counselor and just really wanted to get it done.
Yeah, it's becoming a much more common thing. I don't know about you, Haven, but that wasn't in the cards for me.
Right.
Man, I needed every minute of school to get through that. A couple more minutes. Havon Finney Sr. is our guest with us here. We can also look at just the physicality, right? I mean, is he? I saw 6'2", 170. Is that about right? Is he bigger, smaller? Maybe have y'all looked at projections where they want him to be, want him to play, that sort of thing? I mean, is he 16 right now?
No, he's 17
so
right
17?
now.
Okay.
He's 17. Yeah, he's 17. So he'll play college football as he turns 18.
Okay.
So he'll turn 18 playing college football, and no, he's probably right around, I would say maybe 6'3". 6'2.5", 6'3". He's a taller kid. I mean, if you look at him next to DJ Pickett, DJ Pickett is probably right around 6'3.5", 6'4". Havon's right there, right there with him. I mean, DJ definitely has him by a little bit, but they're both tall guys, to say the least.
Man, that's kind of the mold that Cory loves, man. His tall, long corners, super athletic guys on the outside, which is awesome. Was it difficult for you and your wife knowing your son's going to be across the country when SC right there in town was on him, Oregon, not far, was on him as well?
No, I don't think so. The way college football is now, you have to go where it's best for you and that you've been able to build the best relationship. I think if you can play football, you can play anywhere. And I do believe that the SEC has a brand of football that is unmatched. I believe that, and I'm a West Coast guy. But I do believe that you have to go where you can, where you have the relationship, and also where you feel that it's right for you.
Havon Finney Sr., a couple of minutes with us here. You mentioned Cory. What about Blake Baker, Brian Kelly? Anybody else on staff that you all have been able to connect with and maybe develop a relationship with?
Oh man, Blake is my guy. Blake Baker, phenomenal guy. He's again, the entire staff has been really, really great to us. They've definitely made my son feel like a priority, and I know it's a dicey game. You got to recruit, but he has absolutely felt like a priority to LSU. And if you really think about it, we've had an opportunity to sit down and be with Blake Baker several times. Brian Kelly, I mean, a lot. Everyone over there. Frank. I mean, I don't think there's been no stone unturned when it comes to LSU, and I think that's the part that really drew us to them.
Man, I know there's a lot of people here excited about it. This place kind of earned the moniker DBU and take a lot of pride in it, and people here are going to be excited to have Havon Finney be a part of it. Havon Finney Sr., a couple of minutes with us here on the show. It's our pleasure. Can't thank you enough for taking some time today. We'll look forward to chatting again in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
It's our pleasure. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. Remember, if you buy tires at Shawbills, you're going to get the cheapest price possible. I guarantee it. If you buy tires at Shawbills and you find them advertised cheaper somewhere else, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. That's their commitment at Shawbills. They're going to get you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. And you can always log on to the website to schedule an appointment, to shop tires. The website's so easy to use. So go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. If it's to shop tires or schedule service, you can do it all at the website at ShawBillsTire.com. Go to ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. That's Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, it is After Further Review. Let's see, we'll go around the SEC when we come back. Taylor Calandro, a little Bourbon Dictionary in 15 minutes from right now. And we'll head to College Station in about a half an hour. Tony Catalina is going to join us. He covers the Aggies. LSU hitting the road to take on Texas A&M this weekend. We'll get to all that as we continue. Stay with us. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Take 60 seconds to remind you about River City's 1 Hour Air Friday. The big yellow van will be out in front of my house doing my preseason AC tune-up like I always encourage you to do. I practice what I preach. River City's 1 Hour Air. Preseason AC tune-up. It's like, think of it like an oil change for your vehicle. Think of that like this for your air conditioner. You're not going to go through the summer months without making sure your AC is in tip-top shape. So let River City's 1 Hour Air help you out. You want to extend the life of your unit. You want to prevent small issues from becoming big, costly issues. You catch them early. River City's 1 Hour Air can help. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. I always stress as well, ask about the membership club, the maintenance membership club. You get, as part of that membership club, it's complimentary service. The seasonal maintenance is complimentary. You get membership club pricing when you need a repair, and you get priority service. River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Baton Rouge is home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, Ice Cubes.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
.1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The Dreams Come True Radiothon is presented today by Duplessis Pool Builders. Donate at 1045ESPN.com.
The NFL has fined the Falcons and their defensive coordinator over the prank call to Shedeur Sanders. We also learned today that Abdul Carter also got prank called. We talked about yesterday that Cooper DeJean had been prank called. It's very interesting how there has been this uproar over the Shedeur Sanders situation, which, by the way, was sophomoric and stupid. And the NFL is right to come down on these guys, especially since we know where it came from. But let's not act like this is a new thing. I mean, LSU fans in 2007 got Tim Tebow's number and blew him up. I mean, it's not like it's a new thing. It's some abhorrent thing that happened. It was sophomoric, childish, stupid, all those things. The Falcons DC should be embarrassed. His son should be Jeff Ulbrich and his son Jax Ulbrich, I think is his name. They should be embarrassed. It was stupid. And I actually loved the quote from Jeff Ulbrich. They called the Sanders to apologize and said that the Sanders were, quote, amazingly gracious, more gracious than they needed to be in a moment like this, which I thought was very revealing on both sides. So, but anyway, Abdul Carter got prank called as well. But the NFL is probably going to have some type of protocol they'll implement, which will put the call list for prospects in the future, like a pass-coded thing, something like that, to protect those phone numbers so you don't have a situation like this pop up. But the other part of it, too, is you could continue to see this in the future that isn't a leak from an NFL team. I mean, what's to say somebody doesn't have a prospect's number from college and years before, met him at a bar, whatever, who knows? And then the number gets passed. It happens. So, I don't know. That's not going to stop. You're just going to see more copycats, especially more high-profile like Gets. But just an update on that as it all passed out. But by the way, this year's NFL draft was massive. And I know that we don't love to give Roger Goodell credit for a lot, but his job is to work at the pleasure of the owners. He gets paid a lot to do it. And it's pretty incredible because his job really is to make money. His job is to make money for the owners. And my goodness, did they do that? This was the second most watched NFL draft ever. The only NFL draft that had a higher viewership than this one was the COVID draft. And that makes a lot of sense because aside from The Last Dance and the NFL draft, wasn't nothing on TV during COVID. So you gave anybody anything live and something interesting, people were gonna lap it up. 7.5 million average viewers across the ESPN platforms. That was up 27% from a year ago. And by the way, day 3 was the most watched day 3 of the draft ever with 4.3 million average viewers. That makes a lot of sense. You had the Shedeur slide, which just garnered so much attention and conversation. So naturally, you were going to see a big spike on day 3, which happened. More than 600,000 fans attended the draft in Green Bay, which second only to a year ago when 775,000 fans attended the draft in Detroit. I get asked all the time about New Orleans. Next year is in Pittsburgh. Washington, D.C., and Denver have submitted bids for 2027. So I get asked all the time about New Orleans. And when I have asked that question, the answer I've gotten pretty consistently is that New Orleans isn't likely to bid on the draft because you've already got Jazz Fest and the Zurich Classic going on. So with 2 major events going on simultaneously, they probably don't have the bandwidth in the city and certainly like the emergency personnel to handle a third. So it is unlikely with the schedules of Jazz Fest and Zurich being what they are that New Orleans would ever bid to host the NFL draft. So, but huge numbers for all the ESPN properties. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, Hardy Plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well over at Relief Windows. Summer is right upon us, y'all. Those temperatures are going to rise. It means you want to make your home more energy efficient. Your AC is going to be working overtime. That is unless you make your home more energy efficient with energy-efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. And I always tell you about their beautiful entry doors as well. Remember, their entry doors come in a composite material. You pick the color, so you install it. It's paid once it's done forever, and you're never going to have to worry about it warping or fading or cracking. These were really put to the test during the great flood of 2016 when a lot of the doors they installed, you'd have water in people's homes, floors warped and everything. The doors were perfectly fine. Took them off the hinge, cleaned them, just hosed them off, and then put them right back. They were done. So Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, shutters as well. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Oklahoma Sooners.
Oklahoma has added McNeese portal wide receiver Jermichael Carter. Carter entered as a true junior, so he's got 2 seasons of eligibility remaining. Chose the Sooners over Tennessee, Baylor, Utah, and Vanderbilt. 12 games last year for McNeese, 37 catches.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Hogs landed their 13th commit for 2026. Robert Haynes, IV. The 4th. IV, 4th, yep. 6'1", 175. I don't need your pity rim shot. I kind of did a little bit. Break the silence.
Yeah, that one. Oof.
Great sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be a great player.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
I think I just cut my nose with that piece of paper. I crumpled it and it just sliced right there across my nose, my nostril.
Ow. I mean, yeah. That's kind of crazy that happened.
No, I'm not bleeding. We're good.
All right.
She's okay. Alabama basketball landed transfer forward and WAC freshman of the year, Keaton Bristow from Tarleton State. 23 games, 19 starts, 26 minutes per game, averaged 11 and 4. He was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school, headed to Alabama.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
South Carolina coach Paul Maneri, still weird, shared the latest on Ethan Petrie. Has a strain in the AC joint in his left shoulder, and Maneri said that there is a chance he is done for the year. Usually a 2 to 4 week recovery. The earliest he returned would be the LSU series or the SEC tournament. Petrie's hitting 329 with 10 homers. Be a big boost for LSU if they didn't have to see Petrie when they went to Columbia in a few weeks.
The Texas Longhorns.
And there's a new timeline for the return of injured Texas right fielder Max Ballou. He's missed the last 19 games after he broke his thumb making a diving catch. Apparently, it was thought that he'd be done for the year. He could return for the SEC tournament. Jim Schlossnagle said probably about 3 weeks away at the earliest that you could see him. But it's a guy that reached base in 24 of Texas' first 25 games, hitting .358 with 6 bombs at the time of his injury. One worth watching. Max Ballou could actually return this year. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. We talk about testosterone replacement therapy. You go read the research or go schedule an appointment. Ask about the correlation with testosterone levels and cardiovascular health and prostate health. I mean, you rarely ever see dudes in their 20s with prostate issues, do you? Healthy levels of testosterone. There's science that proves there's a correlation. Also, mood, energy, the ability to burn fat, build muscle. All of us, as we age, every one of us, as we age, our body produces less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel and all those important factors. You can safely, affordably supplement to get to healthy levels. Like we supplement with vitamin D and vitamin C and so many other things. Why not with hormones as well? If it's going to get us to our maximum optimal efficiency and performance in every phase of life. Learn more. yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Okay, y'all, it is after further review. All right, quick break. Taylor Calandro's here. When we come back, a little Bourbon Dictionary. Get your booze questions in. As a matter of fact, my buddy Leighton Carbo, Chef Leighton over at Supper Club, just sent me 6 different whiskeys that they're sampling over at Supper Club. See if they're going to add them there to the bar. I'll ask Taylor his thoughts on these when we come back. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Speaking of whiskey, my goodness, Rouse's has an amazing whiskey selection over there. If you want to get anything for your bar at home, of course, tons of beer, local craft. They got it all for you. And, man, the daily hot bar is amazing. You're looking to buy dinner for the whole family, you can pop into Rouse's, do your grocery shopping, and pick up dinner for the whole family. You want to cook? How about this? The value pack meat sale. You get the $10 bundles right now. It's incredible. You can get pork stew meat, 80% lean ground beef patties, 80% lean seasoned ground beef patties, beef stew meat, shoulder 7 steaks, beef cubed steak, incredible. Boneless pork ribs, bone-in center cut pork chops, seasoned chicken thighs, seasoned chicken breast fillets, fresh Cajun pork sausage, and so much more. $10 per pack. The value pack meat sale going on right now over at Rouse's, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the 2025 Jeep Compass Sport for only $23,995. $23,995 or 2025 Jeep Compass with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
All right, get your booze questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Taylor's here. How are you, dude?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Awesome. Going to see Pearl Jam on Saturday. Fired up for it. Are you going?
Ah, nice. I am going to Austria Friday.
I mean,
and I went and saw Dave Matthews Sunday. So,
I mean, that's kind of like a one-upper. A little, like that's like a 10-upper. I'm like, yeah, I'm so fired up.
Austria,
I'm going to Pearl Jam and
Germany.
Jazz Fest. And then you're just like, I'm going to Austria. I
Yeah,
mean,
man. It was hot at Jazz Fest on Sunday too.
whatever. Get out. Hang up on him. Get it. I'm done. I'm done with this guy. What did you drink at Jazz Fest?
What did I drink? I drank a lot of beer.
Yeah.
And
you can do that. It's plentiful.
Yeah, there's just a lot of beer. It was very hot, really hot. A lot of beer, and I had a couple bowls of crawfish Monica, highly suggested.
Okay, good to know. I'll check that out.
Oh, God, it's unbelievable. It's not really good to eat when it's 100 degrees outside, but it's fantastic.
Makes sense. What is the local fare there in Austria?
I don't know about Austria. We're going to Germany and Venice too. In Germany, I'm going to drink a lot of beer and eat a lot of brats. And then Venice, I'll probably eat some seafood. But the fare in Austria, I'm sure it's very similar to Germany, if I had to guess.
Okay.
But me and my wife are just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. I'll be in Germany next week when you call me, I think. So.
Are you going to come on from Germany?
Yeah, man.
Let's
for sure.
do it. I mean, it's probably going to be like 11 o'clock at night.
It most likely will be around 11 o'clock if the world's still spinning correctly.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to doing that. So, what are there spirits that come out of Austria? Beer? What's the thing there?
I mean, there's tons of beer. I don't think there's any. I mean, I'm sure there's spirits, but they're not known for spirits. That's a ton of beer, and that. I mean, like it's real. All that is known for beer. I mean, that's where all the beer comes from. Austria is not that far. We're going to Salzburg. It's not that far from Munich. So it's just a ton of beer. No real spirits, I don't think.
All right. Get your questions in. You can email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400. I did want to ask, Kentucky Derby this weekend. Great recipe or ideas for mint juleps?
I just like a standard mint julep. That's one of my favorite beverages to drink throughout the year. I'm a huge fan of mint, especially fresh mint. And if you're going to do a mint julep, I suggest using the best ingredients, fresh mint. Even make your own simple syrup and go that way. It makes a difference when you use really good ingredients to make a drink. It's just like making a recipe at home, like food-wise. It's the same thing. If you use cheap ingredients to make a cocktail, it's going to come out tasting that way. So.
Do you have a preference on? By the way, do you know who in town makes a good mint julep? Like if someone wants to go somewhere at cocktail bar or something that makes a good mint julep?
Oliver Twist makes great mint juleps. They use fresh mint, and the bartenders know what they're doing over there. They make their own simple syrup and all that. It's pretty easy to execute a good mint julep. Somebody used to have a frozen mint julep at down, and I can't remember who it is, but yeah, I mean, any good cocktail bar is going to throw together a fantastic mint julep.
All right, let's get your questions in for Taylor. Cade said, "Hey Taylor, today's my golden birthday. Turned 30 today. What bourbon do you recommend to celebrate?"
Something I tried over the weekend that I really like is kind of pricey. So you're turning 30, you can spend a little money, or somebody can spend some money on you. Peerless Toasted.
Okay.
It's $130. It's pricey. It's a really good pour, though. I think it was like 110-ish proof. I can't remember what the proof was. Really good, though. Treat yourself if you see it. We've got some at Government Street, but if you see it, pick it up.
Is there a 30-year Scotch that's affordable, approachable? You don't laugh. I don't do Scotch. You know I don't do Scotch.
No. That's actually a fair question. You can get some Scotch in the 30. I mean, if you were asking about the American whiskey, it would be totally out of the question. But there's some Scotch. I mean, you can get a Balvenie 30. I mean, you're going to look at close to $1,000, but I'm trying to think of anything. Glenn Farkless makes some stuff. They used to have a 40 that was like $400, but that's gone through the roof too. But yeah, that was one of the best finds you could get as a 40-year-old single malt for like $400. That was like 8-9 years ago, but I think they've doubled in price now.
Greg Lehman asked Taylor, we already talked about his Euro vacation. His wife is paying for it anyway. What is your favorite classic New Orleans cocktail?
The former is absolutely true.
Which mine is yours, yours is mine, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. My wife works hard, and she likes to travel. That's why I'm going. It's not my thing. So, what was the second part of that question?
Favorite classic New Orleans cocktail?
I like just the Sazerac. I mean, that doesn't get more classic than that. I'm going to go with the Sazerac.
I love a Sazerac because you can't mess up a Sazerac. Everybody tries
Yeah,
to everybody puts their own twist on an old fashioned. So it's just a crapshoot wherever you go if you order one. I mean, you go to 10 places, get 10 different tasting old fashions. Like the recipe for a Sazerac is a Sazerac. Like if you screw it up, you're just not good at what you do.
Yeah, and I've gotten honestly to the point where I don't order old fashions really at restaurants.
Yeah,
they've gotten out of control with a lot of that stuff.
I have to know what I'm going to get. And if there's places I know where it's good, I'll order it. But other than that, it becomes a little tricky.
Yeah.
All right, dude, we got to go. Hey, safe travels. We'll look forward to talking to you next week from the Chamonix.
Hopefully, I think I'm going to be in Germany. I don't know. It'll be Austria, Germany, or Italy.
Chamonix.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, something like that.
Chamonix.
Keep going.
Chamonix. I don't know what else to say. Other than,
terrible.
Dusseldorf.
I don't know any German. It's
Heinz
like one of the ugliest
I think that's
languages on earth.
I don't know either. That's what it is. See ya.
Later.
AFR.
Bayou Ford is taking 15 to 20% off all new 2024 models in stock. 15 to 20% off all new 2024 Ford models on our lot. Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You work hard every day to pursue a life you love. You put in the time, and it shows. You're forging ahead, chasing a dream, creating something better for the ones you love. You're building your own life. So why not build your own tractor? With John Deere tractors and attachments for almost any need, the Sunshine team can help you do just that. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL fined the Falcons $250,000 and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich $100,000 for Ulbrich's 21-year-old son making a prank phone call to Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. Jax Ulbrich got the number from his father's open iPad while visiting his parents' home. The fines were for failing to prevent the disclosure of confidential information distributed to the club in advance of the draft. ESPN NFL analyst Ryan Clark.
You find the Atlanta Falcons so you can put some sort of accountability on the organization. So I think that's a part of the NFL also saying that, yes, this time it was Jax Ulbrich, right? What happens the next time? Or what happens if it takes another step where some of this information gets out and now one of these individuals is actually physically injured?
Must-wins in Game 5s for the Lakers and Rockets tonight, down 3-1 in their respective first-round NBA playoff series. LA's home to Minnesota, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Houston takes on Golden State. Washington's Georgia Amore, 6th overall pick in the WNBA draft, out indefinitely with an ACL injury.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, the Clippers face an elimination game at home. I'll tell you why all the pressure is on James Harden to get it done. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ross Dellinger, bottom of this hour. Easton Kilty, undrafted free agent out of Kansas State, signed with the New Orleans Saints. He'll be here next hour. Looking forward to that conversation. Tiger baseball got a win. They walked off Southeastern 15-2 on Tuesday night. Next order of business, they head to College Station for 3 games with the Aggies. Tony Catalina, the inventor of the famous wine mixer.
It's the Catalina wine mixer.
He left that gig to join the Austin American-Statesman to write about Texas A&M sports. He's good enough to join us now. Tony, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Give me a vibe check there. I know in College Station with all the preseason expectations, the struggles, the ascent, and then the sweep, I would imagine the ebbs and flows have been mighty. What's the feeling there presently?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head there. I mean, they were rolling for a little bit, winning 10 games out of 11, feeling pretty good about themselves, feeling like they've kind of found the footing they were looking for or expected to have out of the gate. And then one trip to Austin to see their biggest, in-state rival, and they get swept. So things are kind of back to status quo a little bit there. And handling business, in a midseason game against Lamar is one thing, but when you got a team like the LSU Tigers coming to town, they got to kind of lock in and figure out how can they get back on track here again.
I saw Michael Early got tossed in that game against Lamar on Tuesday night. What is the feeling there? I guess both Tony, fans and administration, like what is the general feeling about Early at this point?
It's still, the jury's still out there, right? Like, he's a young coach. I think everybody understands, first-year manager. It's going to come with some growing pains. But on the other side of it, this team was known to have a lot of talent, preseason number 1 across the board, and it would be tough to not sit here and say that this season has not gone to plan, right? There is still some hope that they can scrap and get to a regional and make some noise in the postseason. But right now, with LSU coming up and they got a away series against Georgia to wrap up the regular season, they still got some work to do. So, the jury's still out in early. I think there is some hope, but, the time's running out on this year to see what a real, true year 1 looks like for them.
Tony, you're around the team every day. So after the weekend that they just had, it kind of feels like in sports you'll go one of two ways, right? Either you will be dejected and you will fall flat, or you recognize back against the wall and you come out with piss and vinegar sort of thing. Knowing this team, where do you feel they are sort of on that emotional sliding scale after this weekend?
I think that I think they're looking at it the right way. The way they responded to the early season struggles and played well, lately, like I said, 10 of 11 games they won. They were in those games against Texas, right? 1 runs in the first 2 games on Friday and Saturday, and then, again on Sunday, except with a little bit more offensive production. Nobody from that series has felt like they were a bad team or they were out of that game. They had a lot of respect for the Longhorns. Obviously, Schlossnagle was their former coach. They were right there, and the ball didn't bounce their way a couple times. So I don't think anybody thinks that they're not a good club or somebody that can't figure it out. But like I mentioned earlier, they got to figure it out sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Tony Catalina is our guest, covers the Aggies for the Austin American-Statesman. They still got Ryan Prager, front of the rotation. He's been a really good pitcher during his time there. Give me a little bit of an idea of how the season's gone for Prager.
Earlier, the last couple series, he's struggled. He's had some shorter outings. He's been getting touched up a little bit. They've been getting, balls on bats, and he's known his placement and perhaps his velocity hasn't where he's wanted to be over the last few series. But against Texas, he was lights out. He gave up 1 run. I think he went 5 2/3, and he pitched well and gave the Aggies a chance. So if his last performance is any indicator, he looks to be figuring out what he had gone through in that little month stretch where it wasn't his best ball. So yeah, I wouldn't say, and he would agree, it hasn't been his best year production or performance-wise, but I think he's in a good spot coming into this LSU series.
Fewer strikeouts and innings pitched. A little wild to see that.
Yeah.
If there is a strength there with the Aggies pitching staff, where would you say that is?
I think it's Weston Moss. He comes out of the bullpen. He's he's their best reliever arm. Typically, they're expecting to get 5-6 innings out of Prager, Justin Lampkin, and Miles Patton. And when they're able to pull, Weston Moss out of the bullpen, he's been that bulldog that, brings high energy, brings good innings, and he's bringing a lot of energy off that, onto the bullpen, out of the bullpen, excuse me. I think he's one of those guys where he would have been a starter if they didn't get Miles Patton out of the transfer portal this year, and I think he's somebody who is rounded to form this season. He didn't have a great outing against Texas. He ended up walking 3 straight batters, and he got pulled. But over the season, he's been a really, really important piece for them.
A couple more. Tony Catalina is with us, covers the Aggies for the Austin American-Statesman. Let's talk about the offense. I mean, there's tons of guys whose names we know, just hasn't always been awesome. Give me a sense of what the feeling is with the offense right now.
Yeah, right now, coming out of that Texas, the Texas series, the offense is sputtering a little bit. They did score 5 runs in the final game, but before that, they scored 3 in 2 games total. So the offense production has been ebbs and flows. They just scored 125 runs in 11 games prior to the Texas, thing. So they've found ways to score, and they've gotten it from different sources. Terrence Keel, who's the leadoff hitter, true freshman, kid's batting .329, leading the team, and then they go Wyatt Hensler out of Penn, the transfer. He's, batting .311, second on the team. So it hasn't come from the people like Jace or, some of the names like Hayden Schott you would expect in prior years, but it's there. It just hasn't been as consistent as they had hoped it would be.
LSU and Texas A&M this weekend from College Station for a 3-game set. If it goes the way the Aggies want this weekend, how do you suspect that looks, Tony?
That's a great question. I think they want to grind it out. They want Prager and they want Lampkin to throw good innings, Patton as well. I think they would feel comfortable if they can win somewhere in the 4-2, 4-3 range, get good bullpen arms. Like I said, they've hit the ball well at times, but it hasn't been consistent enough. I think they need to find good pitching. They need to limit the mistakes, limit the free passes with the walks. If they can keep LSU's bats at bay, I think the Aggies will have a shot this weekend.
He is Tony Catalina, joining us, Austin American-Statesman, LSU against Texas A&M this weekend for a 3-game series there at Bluebell Park. Tony, we appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. I appreciate your time.
Yep. We appreciate you. It's after further review. Big weekend for both squads. Going in very different directions as LSU is trying to lock up a national seed, but the Aggies still have a lot of work to do to make sure that they end up earning a postseason bid. 3 weekends to go. A weekend series against a top 5 RPI team in LSU would certainly go a long way to doing that for the Aggies. But my goodness, look, I bit, last Friday we were doing our picks for the weekend. Mincy and I both had A&M on Friday on the money line. And you had an ascending Texas A&M team that had won 3 straight weekends, and you had a Texas team that had just found out that they lost their ace, Jared Spencer, for the year. So, I mean, the Aggies had all the revenge component mixed in as well, going against their former coach, Jim Schlossnagle. Yes, it was on the road, but my goodness, what an opportunity that was. But in any event, we'll see how it goes this weekend with LSU going to College Station for a 3-game series against the Aggies. Hey, we're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. Remember, when you go to the Williamson Eye Center, you can have your annual eye exam done at any of their 8 locations. The newest one in St. Francisville, by the way, which is awesome because post-op, you no longer have to go to Zachary. You can do your eye exam and all your post-op care in St. Francisville. Eye care, eyewear. So if you wear glasses or contacts, you can buy your contacts or glasses at any of their 8 optical shops, including the location right there off of Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, in the Baton Rouge General Campus. And, of course, eye surgery. State-of-the-art operating rooms, the latest technology, and the latest procedures. We tell you all the time about LASIK, but there's also EVO ICL, which is an alternative to LASIK. That's an ICL implantable contact lens, which is reversible. I tell you all this just to say, listen, just get the information. Call, do the consultation, learn what your options are with the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. If you missed it, Havon Finney Sr. was with us about an hour ago. His son, Havon Finney Jr., who was the number 1 cornerback for 2027, reclassified for 2026, committed to LSU earlier this week. He detailed that commitment. We'll get that up on YouTube soon. The interview will be up on YouTube and podcast soon. If you missed it, we'll have it on demand in all the places. Ross Dellinger, bottom of this hour. We're glad you're with us. The NFL draft's in the rearview mirror, so kind of wanted to give you some perspective outside of ours. We're going to do a Saints draft grade roundup. So we looked at a lot of the national perspective, draft analysts, etc. How did they grade the Saints draft? I'll give you a sense of what the national folks are saying with a draft grade roundup as we continue. It's locked on. It's not locked on. Nope, it's not locked on. Locked on LSU. That's a totally different show I do. It's not Morning Scone either. That's another different show I do. This is called After Further Review. Totally different show altogether.
Different day entirely.
Different day. It's a different day. This day does, however, end in Y.
It does.
But sometimes the wires get crossed.
Yeah.
And that just happened. Man, I do a lot of shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But this is one called After Further Review. It's brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, and we'll be back.
AFR.
Big shout out to Will Helmers, man. Former Tiger pitcher was in studio with us yesterday. Will Helmers has officially joined the G team. I don't know if you caught this, but when Will was with us yesterday, he announced he's joined Gordon's team to do content creation. He's doing a series called Louisiana Loaded. They're going to go to all different types of Louisiana cultural events, concerts, festivals, sporting events, and just meet people, eat great food, drink great drinks, and create content and all. It'll be featured on all the Louisiana Loaded channels, all part of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys and the media arm that he's building. As we all know, they've got The Garage, which is the new podcast studio where you'll see a lot of members of the G team sitting down with Gordon. If you haven't seen it yet, you can catch it on Gordon's YouTube channel and all the social media. So make sure you're following Gordon on social at @GetGordon, 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 Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of it there at @GetGordon. You know what to do. You've been injured in an accident. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Excited about the day, excited to get the players we got. I felt like it kind of fell the way we had hoped in a lot of ways, and yeah, just excited that it's over too. So it feels like a long draft, to be honest with you.
Mickey Loomis recapping the draft. We'll get to a mock draft roundup here in just a quick second. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. One guy who we had anticipated would have already heard his name called in the NFL draft is former LSU tight end Eric Gilbert, who I'm sure you know the story. Gilbert was a guy who signed with LSU as the highest-rated tight end ever, and spent a year at LSU, then opted out. There was all these weird conversations about, his body hurting and whatnot. If you remember Ed Ogeron at the time saying that. He went to Georgia and then to Nebraska. Well, we found out now that Eric Gilbert is transferring to Savannah State. It'll be his 5th college stop in 5 years. So now he'll be in the FCS level, but then went to Georgia and left due to personal reasons, just sparse snaps there. Went to Nebraska, was arrested twice there. He was caught on video stealing merchandise from a liquor and vape store, later involved in a smash and grab burglary incident. So, super talented guy, but a guy that has had a lot of issues, and I know we've talked about it, and a lot of this became public whenever his hospital record was made public. But Gilbert is a guy that has dealt with mental disease, and anyone that has ever known or been around or loved anyone who has dealt with mental disorders know one of the hardest things in the world to do is to convince someone who has a mental disorder that they are sick. And it is very hard to get patients to stay on their medicine. And it can be a very, very difficult cycle and difficult is not nearly a strong enough word. And unfortunately, we've seen a lot of that behavior evidence with Gilbert. And one of the things that is encouraging, of course, being from Georgia. Now, he was at the University of Georgia and still, left due to personal reasons, as it was termed. But being at Savannah State will have him close to family as well. So maybe that can be of help to him. So Gilbert's an insanely talented athlete, man. Literally the highest rated tight end ever in recruiting rankings. And you keep hoping that it works out for the best for a very talented young guy. It just hasn't yet in any of his previous stops. Hopefully this will be the one where it will. So Eric Gilbert transferring to Savannah State. We've got a write-up there at louisianasports.net for free if you want to check it out there. Also, in hour one, Havon Finney, the number one cornerback in the country for 2027, who reclassified to 2026. His dad, Havon Sr., was on AFR in hour number one. We got a recap of that up at louisianasports.net. It's up at the top of the homepage if you want it. And we'll make sure that we embed the YouTube video in that post just as soon as it's uploaded and ready to roll. So we'll get that there for you all for free at louisianasports.net. NFL draft has come and gone. Mickey Loomis was excited about the draft. Saints made 9 picks, as we talked about. And look, they covered a lot of ground. One thing that they didn't do is trade. For the first time since 2015, the New Orleans Saints did not trade, execute a draft day trade. And it's the first time since 2015 also that they made all 9 picks. This was Gumsmack and Mick on their decision not to trade during the draft.
Look, there was a lot of discussions. At times we had things that I thought we were going to do, go in both directions, believe it or not. But, either the player that the team, we thought we were going to make a deal with wasn't there for them, or, we decided that, we had a better opportunity to stay where we were. So there were some deals on the table that we talked about. I felt like in general there were fewer deals this year than most. I know for us there were fewer calls, and so it'll be interesting to see when it all gets added up how many deals were done. But it just felt like there was fewer than normal.
One of the things that we always say when talking about draft trades, because I'll get this a lot. I was actually having a conversation this morning with a friend about the draft and what they. Well, actually, forgive me. It was Jim Derry over at NOLA.com, and I was on Jim's podcast with him, and he was making the comment about how his preference would have been for New Orleans to trade back and maybe look for Tyler Shuck in round 3 or something like that. And the point that I made is actually the one that Mickey Loomis made just there is, like, you don't get to just trade back. You don't just get to forfeit your pick and move back and accumulate someone else's picks. You have to have a trade partner. You have to have someone willing to do a deal. If you want to move back, you have to have someone who's willing to move up. And not every team is willing to move up, or not. There's not always for every pick a team willing to move up to take your pick. So if you're sitting there at 40 and nobody is willing to take your pick and give you an asset to move back, well, you got to make a pick. So you decide what to do. And the Saints went Tyler Shuck right there at 40 and picked a quarterback. And that's going to be the one I think that really defines this draft for a lot of obvious reasons. I mean, it's the highest the Saints have drafted a quarterback since Archie Manning in 1971. And because of everything going on, the uncertainty with Derek Carr, this is now the 3rd consecutive year you've drafted a quarterback. But again, the first time ever you've taken a quarterback in round 2, and the highest you've taken a quarterback since Archie in 1971. You're talking 50 years. You haven't taken a quarterback this high in 50 years. Naturally, this is going to define the draft. And that's something, Mickey Loomis was asked about that whole concept of this being the first time. It's the first time in his tenure as the GM that they've drafted a quarterback in the top 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of the process, every year. And there have been times where we've I don't want to say targeted, that's not the right word, but we talked about taking a quarterback, even in the first round, and it just didn't fall right for us. So some of that's just circumstances as opposed to desire, I guess is the right way to say it. But yeah, we love Tyler. That through the evaluation process, we really liked him, and he was available when we were picking, and so pulled the trigger on that.
Hard to believe, but I actually agree with Mickey Loomis there. I mean, they were going to select Patrick Mahomes with the 11th pick in 2017. That was the pick they were going to make, and Kansas City jumped ahead of them. So it's not to say that they never would. They just haven't, and sometimes it is circumstance. But I think also sometimes you have to make your circumstance if you have urgency. And I think this year, the reason they took Tyler Shuck at 40 was urgency. Because there's a very real question about if Derek Carr is going to be available this year. And I don't think anyone feels comfortable going into the season with Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener. So you had to give yourself another option. And so they did with a player that they really liked in Tyler Shuck. So as you look at it, the Saints made 9 picks. The biggest surprise for me was wasn't necessarily a player that they took. It was that they didn't take a wide receiver. We've talked about it a bit. When you look up and down the Saints roster at receiver, when you look at Shaheed and Olave and Cooks and Tipton, you look at a bunch of dudes that are between 5'10 and 6 foot tall. That's your receiver room. So I really thought they were going to address that with a big-bodied pass catcher, and they just didn't. They took a tight end out of UCLA in round 7, but that doesn't help you. So there's got to be more there this offseason, be it veteran free agency or trade or however it may work, because they can't be content with this receiver group. But that's something else Loomis did talk about, was in this draft not taking a wide receiver.
Going into the draft, there were some receivers that we really liked and we hoped that we'd have the opportunity to get, and it just didn't work out. So I think that's probably the one position that going into the draft you'd like to have. But when you follow your board and you take the value presented to you, and it just never really presented to us at receiver. I think there was a couple times when we thought we were going to get a receiver at a particular slot, and that guy got taken a few picks in front of us, so it just didn't work out.
There's a lot of feedback coming on the Saints draft. I can give you mine. Everybody can give you their feedback. But we did a little bit of a draft roundup. Field Yates actually listed his favorite pick of every round. Rounds 1 through 7, what was his favorite pick in round 1, favorite pick in round 2, so on. Actually, one of his favorite picks was Devin Neal in round 6, the Saints running back out of Kansas, a guy we talked about. He went in round 6, number 184 overall. This is a guy who had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons at Kansas. He set the school rushing touchdown record with 49. The knock on him is the size, and he's 5'11", and then the speed or lack thereof. He ran a 4.58 in the 40, so just under 4.6. So the lack of breakaway speed is going to hurt you whenever you're looking at things like relative athletic score. And you have a very deep running back class as well. It wasn't just at the top with Genty, but when you look at guys like Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, you had a Dylan Sampson. You had a very deep running back class. I even think about a guy like Jarquez Hunter, who was so good during his career at Auburn, who was a sort of an afterthought at running back in this draft. So there you in round 6 have a guy in Devin Neal who is sitting there for you, and hopefully he can maybe take a little bit of the pressure off of what appears to be a whiff on Kendre Miller over a couple of years, a guy who hasn't contributed for you in 2 seasons. So maybe Devin Neal can be that guy that steps in and is the 1-2 punch with Alvin Kamara. But that's one that a lot of scouts liked, was Neal to the Saints in round 6. Tons of value there. For what it's worth on the draft grade roundup, Mel Kiper gave the Saints a B-. Pete Prisco and Chris Trapasso of CBS gave the Saints a C. Yahoo Sports graded the Saints a B-, as did Chad Reuter of NFL.com. Pro Football Focus a C+. Rob Rang at Fox a B. Nate Davis at USA Today a B. Luke Easterling at Athlon a B-. Rob Matty at AP a C+. So nary an A. The highest grade was a B, but you do see some C's and B- in there, but no D's. So the general consensus is you didn't do great, you didn't do terrible, you were just kind of in the middle, which is actually a pretty accurate way to gauge what this organization has been for the last half decade, sans Drew Brees. I don't know that I believe I'm excited very much about this team or this season at all. What I will say is an area where I've been clear is the path to fixing this is getting younger and more affordable. Well, how do you do that? You draft 9 players. I don't know that all 9 are going to make the team. It's unlikely that they do. But can you get 5 starters out of this draft? Can you get 5 starters on rookie contracts out of this draft? If you do, I think we'll turn back in hindsight and say that was a good draft and a pivotal turning point for this organization. You got to figure out quarterback, obviously, and you got to hit on Kellen Moore as a head coach. But you got to get your roster and your salary cap in order. The best way to do that is get younger and more affordable, and you do that through the draft. So time will tell, but an average of a B, solid B, C plus average is what a lot of scouts and NFL draft prognosticators seem to think about what the Saints did over their 3 days there in Green Bay. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. My bad, I'm a little late here. Ross Dellinger's next on AFR.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions, glowresources.com. Yes, Glow Resources has offices in New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, and Miami, and Orlando, and Houston, and the Golden Triangle, and they do business all over the world. It's incredible how Jareth Nake and that team is scaled because they do awesome work helping businesses find the right people for their business. But home base is still Baton Rouge and New Orleans for Glow Resources. Their corporate headquarters are on Perkins Road next to Pennington. They got their office in New Orleans as well, and they thrive and help Louisiana businesses thrive. So if it's skilled blue-collar labor or any type of office job, if you need to find the right people, if you're struggling to find the right people in your business, let Glow Resources help. They have a 96% satisfaction ranking. It's Glow Resources and glowresources.com. GLO, glowresources.com.
You gotta believe in the dream. Believe. You gotta believe in the dream. Believe. You gotta believe. Whole team on wild.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Bayou Ford is taking 15 to 20% off all new 2024 models in stock. 15 to 20% off all new 2024 Ford models on our lot. Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
here for the review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, trying to connect with Ross Dellinger, who's got a piece up over at Yahoo. Interesting times as the House settlement that we've talked about for months and months now is apparently coming close to resolution. And there's a new report from Ross about schools voluntarily grandfathering in roster spots, but how that affects budgets and Title IX and all that stuff. This settlement kind of hangs in the balance, and this is the thing that's been worked on and debated and bandied about for years, actually, now. And as we close in on resolution, there may be something here that could throw a monkey wrench in it. So we'll get Ross on here in just a second. The other thing that's fascinating, I don't know if y'all saw this today, but Kirk Bohls, now the Houston Chronicle, has a piece up intimating that Texas is going to spend between $35 and $40 million on this year's football roster. The high end last year, the Ole Miss, Ohio State numbers, Texas was in that mix, was in the upper teens, lower 20s. Now, the estimation here is that Texas is going to spend $35 to $40 million on this year's roster. But I think this comes with a caveat, because that's not going to be replicable moving forward because of the revenue share, which is capped. So it's important to remember what's happening right now. You have all of these schools that are front-loading contracts. So to say, okay, maybe your deal is a 3-year deal worth $1 million a year, so that's $3 million. But so as not to have $1 million count against our cap the next 2 years, we'll give you $3 million right now. Or we'll give you $2 million of it now, and we'll just do $1 million divvied up over the next 3 years. Now, does that get complicated if there's transfers, et cetera? Yes, it does. There's complicating factors. But this is what we're talking about with front loading. So because I know this is convoluted and a little confusing, but you're talking about a number for the roster that's probably more of a blended number of NIL through the collective and revenue share as it's projected, that could be over multiple years. But the other reason you front load is because, in theory, if you're front loading the contract now, then you're not going to need all that revenue share money for next school year. And remember, when we talk about revenue, it's not a calendar year in revenue share, it's a school year. So from fall to through spring, it's the 2 semesters. So you could front load the contract now with NIL, so you're not spending that money in the fall as part of your revenue share. You can instead take that revenue share money and front load for the next year in that signing class, the portal class, all that sort of stuff. So it's a cycle that can keep repeating for teams that are able to front load now. That's why LSU, sort of unexpectedly, is in a great spot, because they had this infusion of cash for a lot of different reasons. The money they had committed to Bryce Underwood and Jakeem Stewart and Cade Phillips. The infusion of cash from people who were really pissed off at losing those guys and so started committing more. And then obviously the fundraising that Taft has done since they took over as the fundraising arm. So effectively the timing of it was perfect. Unintentionally, but was perfect. Because it allowed LSU the opportunity to be flush with cash rich right now, to front load deals before revenue share goes into play, so that way they'll keep being able to replicate this cycle. The problem a lot of teams are going to have is the ones that have their money next fall tied up in revenue share that aren't going to be able to commit dollars then in December for the transfer portal guys, the December portal window guys. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Supper Club, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Back open today. Remember, they're closed Sunday, Monday. Open Tuesday through, well, today's Wednesday, but they're open Tuesday through Saturday. And I was texting with Chef Layton earlier today. They do still have some available seating for Mother's Day. It's a week from Sunday. They're usually closed on Sunday, but they're opening for Mother's Day. So if you want to eat at Supper Club on Mother's Day, you can get your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. They're seating from 11 to 3. So they're open for lunch, 11 to 3 on Mother's Day. Thrill Mom with lunch at Supper Club. Go to church, then head on by Supper Club. Supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Okay, we're going to be compressed here. Do we want to just move?
Up to you. I mean,
well, ask him. Don't ask. Don't talk to me. Talk to him. Ross is here, but we're gonna have like 2 minutes before we have to break. So if we can, what we'll do is we talk to Ross in the next segment if he's available, or is he good? All right, Muse is gonna talk to him there. We will talk to Easton Kilty in about 30 minutes from right now. What do I do? Okay, perfect. All right,
next segment.
So Easton Kilty is a Saints undrafted free agent. He is going to join us in about 30 minutes from right now. Let me break, so we'll stay on time. We'll talk to Ross to wrap up the hour next.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Action Industries, actionindinc.com, Action Industries Incorporated. Over at Action Industries, remember, they also have a subsidiary, which is the Advanced Turnaround Group. Its turnaround season really marks through October. So if you're in the petrochemical refinery market, you work at the plants, and it's turnaround season, and you got a turnaround coming up, and you need someone to bid that turnaround job, remember the Advanced Turnaround Group at Action Industries. Again, the Advanced Turnaround Group over at Action Industries. Check them out online, actionindinc.com, Action Industries Incorporated. Been around since 1982, 43 years. But remember, the Advanced Turnaround Group, they're not taking folks from other parts of Action Industries and dumping them in the turnaround world. This is a completely different set of resources dedicated specifically to executing your turnaround with specialty welding and 24-hour emergency services. It's the Advanced Turnaround Group.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and 7 have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Ross Dellenger over at Yahoo has an interesting piece up as we inch closer to the to what we all assume is going to be this house settlement. Did he drop? Okay, he dropped. Okay, good. We got him. All right, Ross Dellenger joins us. How are you, dude?
I'm good, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks, man. Appreciate the patience here. Give me a sense of what this news is today.
I'm assuming you're talking about the house roster stuff.
Yeah, that
Limits, yeah.
I know you have a piece up at Yahoo about it. I'm just trying to make sense of how this affects. Go ahead and give us the explanation.
Yeah, I'll give you the spill a little bit. Well, hopefully everybody listening does know what the house case is, but a real brief synopsis is that, it allows revenue sharing, right? Athlete revenue sharing that all these schools are prepared to do. They've been gearing up to do this to share revenue with athletes starting July 1 directly and basically pay players. But in order to do that, the house settlement has to be approved by the judge. And part of the settlement is the implementation of roster limits. And the judge has said that she will not approve the settlement unless all the roster limits are phased in. So what's happening right now is kids by the thousands, I think probably over 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 have been eliminated because of these new roster limits that are also part of the settlement with the rev share. And the judge has said you can't eliminate players from rosters that they're currently on. She wants them grandfathered in. So she has told the NCAA and the power conferences that during a hearing in Oakland that I was at about 3 weeks ago at the final house hearing, she told them to change it. They did not. And so now she basically issued her final warning, and it was change it or I will not approve the settlement. So they're in the middle of negotiating to potentially change it, but it's not an easy change, right? They have to grandfather in all these players who, are currently on a roster or who have already been cut from last year's roster. So it just gets really complicated. And as my story, as I wrote the story yesterday, right now the current belief is they will grandfather in, but only on a voluntary basis. So it's at the school's discretion whether they want to grandfather in their players. Will she accept that? That's the big question. If they end up putting that forward, they have a deadline they have to file by a week from today.
So what's the assumption, or is there a precedent of what the judge will do?
The judge in her order ordered them to work with a mediator and to work with the two objectors they're two attorneys, Laura Rutherford and Steve Molo are their names, and they're attorneys who were actually at the hearing with me in Oakland, and they publicly objected to the roster limits. So they're supposed to work with them in the mediator to try to figure out a good middle ground that will be approved by the judge. I don't know how much, Matt, that they're willing to budge, though, on this issue. They don't want to schools don't want to be forced to guarantee roster spots to players because, Matt, right now, roster spots are not guaranteed. Scholarships are, but roster spots are not guaranteed under current rules. So this, forcing a school to guarantee grandfather in current players to the roster would be something that doesn't even exist now. So they're leaning toward doing this optional type of voluntary at the school's discretion. I just don't know if it'll be enough, and we really haven't seen a case quite like this. I mean, it's a historic kind of landmark case, and so we don't really know. Nobody really knows how exactly she'll rule.
Let's say she does not accept the terms of the settlement. Then what?
The settlement blows up, and there is no settlement, and that could be a real problem with schools who have spent the last year gearing up to abide by the settlement. Now, that doesn't mean schools will not directly pay players come July 1. So let me say this. There are probably three options if the settlement blows up and she rejects it. Number one, everything kind of stays as is now. NIL, collectives, all this money, right? All the freedom of transfer, all this stuff stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, and this is probably the most likely option, schools adhere to the settlement terms but aren't protected by the settlement, right? So they adhere to all the terms that they've been thinking the last few months was going to happen, and so they continue to do it. And so that includes this new clearinghouse that I know I've done the show to talk about before, right. The rev share. They just continue to do it all, but they're not protected by the settlement in a legal document, which they're hoping gives them protection to enforce some of these rules and all this stuff. Number three, Matt, is the big blow up. And that is a segment of schools deciding to start something new over here, right? And break away and move away and pay players and organize in a way that you have binding contracts. Some of that over maybe even collective bargaining type of stuff that's kind of being talked about. So if the settlement blows up, it could really be an interesting time. It's already an interesting time, but it could really get pretty chaotic and crazy.
Huh. I mean, I think we're heading for number three eventually. Anyway, I don't know if that's a year, 5 years, 10 years. I think we're heading for that eventually. I think most people probably agree that. Can you give us, you said they'd have a week. What sort of, because Ross, correct me if I'm wrong, I think our assumption all along had been by the end of April, the House settlement was going to be approved. But here we are on the last day of April, and it's still not. So what sort of timeline are we working on?
Well, yeah, I mean, they have a week to file what should be the last brief to the court to do these grandfathering and to respond to the judge. Basically, they have a week to respond to the judge's request to grandfather in the rosters and all that. After that, within a week, you would think that she will either, approve or disapprove, that she will probably make her determination pretty quickly because she's got all the documents and everything. She's got everything. So then she'll have this last document from the NCAA and the power conferences, and then she'll probably rule pretty quickly. So maybe even by the end of next week, certainly by the end of the following week, you would think that we'll have a resolution here.
And real quick, in about 60 seconds, if you could, who does this ruling, players-wise, potentially affect most?
I'm sorry, what now?
What players would this ruling potentially, the grandfathered-in rule, potentially affect the most?
Yes. Well, the sports with the biggest rosters now that have to cut down. So one is football, right? Usually a team keeps 120, 130 football players on the roster. The new roster limit is 105. The other one would be cross country and track. Those are big squads that have to be cut down to, I think, 17 and 20. It's some different numbers, but they have to be cut down. And then swimming as well. Swimming is another one. Again, a big squad that would have to be cut down. So those are the sports that would be impacted the most, probably.
He's Ross Dellinger over at Yahoo. You can follow him at Ross Dellinger, read his stuff at Yahoo. We'll bother you again, I'm sure. I appreciate your flexibility with us today. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Yeah, thank you. All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
Be well. We're brought to you by Evermore, EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. Drink Evermore. I mean, I got my 64-ounce bottle right here. I mean, I drink it every single day. I have purged tap water out of my life, and Evermore is a healthier alternative. Natural artesian water from underground aquifers that are thousands of years old. It is Mother Nature's masterpiece, untouched by air until you uncork it or uncap it and take the first delicious sip. You want a better form of hydration, healthier for your family and your children. You want Evermore. Available at great local retailers and online at evermore.com. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. Hour 3 after Sports Center.
After further review.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Looks like the Warriors will have small forward Jimmy Butler for the potential closeout in Game 5 of the first-round NBA playoff series against the Rockets tonight, listed as probable with a pelvic contusion. Butler's played a major role in Golden State jumping out to a 3-1 lead. ESPN NBA analyst Chiney Ogwumike.
Jimmy Butler has done a tremendous job, especially when switching out onto Jalen Green, who, other than that 38-point game, has been averaging 8 points per game, 29% from the field he's been shooting, and 2 for 14 from 3. And, of course, everyone was celebrating Draymond Green, who held Alperen Şengün as well to 3 of 13 shooting while he was on the floor.
Like the Warriors, the Timberwolves take a 3-1 lead into Game 5 tonight of their series against the Lakers, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. The NFL fined the Falcons $250,000 and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich $100,000 for Ulbrich's 21-year-old son making a prank phone call to Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. Jets backup quarterback Jordan Travis retiring from football. His surgically repaired left leg hasn't fully recovered from the injury he suffered at Florida State in 2023.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive is here for all of life's needs, with protection for your home, auto, business, and more. From timely repairs to customizable coverages and payment options, we make it easy. See if you can save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood, Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom, play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's hump day. Oh, my God.
It's hump day.
What?
You know what I just realized?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
What'd you just realize?
It's 5 o'clock.
It's hump day.
Yeah.
On Wednesday.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
AKA hump day.
Hump day.
Which signifies getting over the hump toward the weekend.
It's hump day.
And this weekend...
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
I get to watch Pearl Jam.
Hump day.
On Saturday.
It's hump day.
At Jazz Fest.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And they take the stage.
Hump day.
At 5 p.m.
It's hump day.
I'm 72 hours away from seeing Pearl Jam at Jazz Fest.
Hump day.
Muse for the rest of the week. Pearl Jam bumps the rest of the week.
It's hump day.
That's all I want the rest of the week.
Okay.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Do you think you could name 20 Pearl Jam songs?
No, I don't.
No shot?
I couldn't name 20.
No shot at all?
No. Because I'll tell you this, there's songs that I would know by them that I wouldn't know the name of the song. Because, I mean, Eddie Vedder's got a pretty recognizable voice. So, if I heard it, I'd be like, oh, that's Pearl Jam. But I wouldn't know the name of the song.
Paul, could you name 20 Pearl Jam songs?
No chance. Paul's from Central.
You idiots didn't even know 311 was a band.
It's hump day.
What do you know?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Nothing.
Hump day.
Not letting you kill my joy.
It's hump day.
Different songs too, Muse. No repeats.
Okay, I might need some help from you on that.
It's really easy. Get 10, get verses, their debut album, their sophomore album, greatest sophomore album of all time, you'll recognize 80% of the songs on those two albums. That alone will get you home free.
All right.
All right, let's get going here. Easton Kilty will be here in 10 minutes. He's an offensive lineman that signed with the New Orleans Saints as an undrafted free agent out of Kansas State. So that's coming up. What? Paul, YouTube said, oh, never mind. So one of our videos can't be monetized. AFR from yesterday? Maybe just the AFR. Was that from today's episode? What? That's from today. Whatever, YouTube. Shut up with your stupid rules, Google. They're probably going to ban me for that now. They were listening. Their bots were listening.
I think you're good. I don't think they're going to ban you.
We'll see. By the way, for everyone who asks about OTB Spotify, we know. I know. They didn't get canceled, nothing like that. They play licensed music all the time. They had a bunch of copyright strikes, and so Spotify banned their account. We're working very hard to get it back live. We appealed all the stuff because we have a license to play the music on radio. Explained this to them. They were actually very receptive. It just takes time to go through all the red tape. But you can get OTB on demand everywhere else, just not on Spotify right now until that's back. But we know. Saints draft came and went, and the single biggest surprise to me is they didn't draft a wide receiver. That's something that Mickey Loomis, after the draft, in the post-draft press conference, he would talk about. He won't talk about his starting quarterback. You have to go to church. You have to go to the church in Las Vegas, just the one, to be able to hear Derek Carr talk about his shoulder. No one else is apparently allowed to talk about it, but Mickey Loomis did talk about not drafting a receiver.
Going into the draft, we probably would. There were some receivers that we really liked and we hoped that we'd have the opportunity to get, and it just didn't work out. So I think that's probably the one position that going into the draft you'd like to have. But when you follow your board and you take the value presented to you, and it just never really presented to us at receiver. I think there was a couple times when we thought we were going to get a receiver at a particular slot, and that guy got taken a few picks in front of us, so it just didn't work out.
So it was the biggest surprise. The Saints were one of the worst offenses in the NFL a year ago. Shaheed and Olave both got hurt. There's legitimate long-term injury concerns about Olave because of the concussions, and after those two guys, you saw a massive drop-off. Do you know the New Orleans Saints' leading pass catcher a year ago was Juwan Johnson, a tight end. The second leading pass catcher for the New Orleans Saints a year ago was Alvin Kamara, a running back. The third leading pass catcher for the New Orleans Saints a year ago, Foster Moreau, a tight end. Only then do you get to Chris Olave, who was your fourth leading pass catcher a year ago. And I understand Olave and Shaheed were hurt, but you have to plan accordingly. And there's a very fair question. Do you have enough if those guys are healthy? And I don't know that I can answer that to the affirmative. Olave had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons to start his career. Shaheed's been an amazing deep threat, but is that enough? I don't think so. I think you need a big-bodied receiver that can go over the middle. You certainly lack that at this point. And when Shaheed got hurt, you had Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who's 6'4" and could fly. Was great in your offense. And now he's playing for Seattle on a one-year deal. And you went and signed old Brandon Cooks, who's been declining for 3 years. This organization, y'all. You got to address it. And I think you need a big-bodied receiver as well. Chris Olave, 6 foot, 187. Shaheed, 6 foot, 180. Brandon Cooks, 5'10", 189. Mason Tipton, 5'11", 187. Dante Pettis, 6'1", 195. That's your big guy. Your big guy is 6'1", 195. Like, they're all the same guy. You have got to go get a big-bodied receiver that can create a mismatch. So, if nothing else, you can scheme a mismatch against a smaller corner with a 6'4" receiver. You don't have that. And yes, you have Juwan Johnson, but if he's on the field and he's not going to block, you're predictable by personnel. So you got to go find a big pass catcher, a big-bodied pass catcher. So you're going to have to look in veteran free agency. And quite honestly, y'all, the list of available free agent wide receivers right now in the NFL isn't exactly plentiful, but the guy at the top of the list is one that should be interesting for a variety of different reasons. Most notably because he's been a very good and very productive player throughout his career, but also his connection to this staff. And that, of course, is Keenan Allen, who spent this past year with the Chicago Bears. And although Keenan Allen is 33 years old, this past year in Chicago, he had 70 catches for 774 yards, which would have by far led the New Orleans Saints. And 2 years ago in 2023 in with the Chargers with Brandon Staley as his head coach and Kellen Moore as his offensive coordinator. Ellen Moore as his offensive coordinator.
Ellen Moore.
Had 1,200 yards receiving 2 years ago with the Chargers. And Keenan Allen, before that training camp, gave his impressions of Kellen Moore.
Smart guy. Obviously a guy who played, knows the game, knows the in and outs, knows different ways to get guys open. And, I like what we have going right now.
Clearly so. During the season, Ellen Moore gave his impressions of Keenan Allen.
Keenan, everyone knows who Keenan is. We're going to try and utilize him. I think put him in different spots so that hopefully the defense has to work if they're going to draw attention to him. And so he's one of the best in the league. Doing that. Line up in all the different spots, play different roles. He does a phenomenal job with it.
Yes. Give me a 6'4" receiver. I don't care that he's 33 years old because he's shown even at this age he is still productive. That is the antithesis of Brandon Cooks, who at 31 has been declining now for 3 straight years. This is a big-bodied receiver who just 2 seasons ago had 1,200 yards with your head coach as his offensive coordinator. And the head coach of that team is the current defensive coordinator. If both of those guys vouch for him, go get him. It just makes too much sense. And if you're wondering, according to Spotrac, they have his market value for Keenan Allen at about $11 million per 11.1, so a 2-year deal, $22.1 million would be the projected value for Keenan Allen if they were to sign him. So you want to look at market value, there's the projection for Keenan Allen's market value according to Spotrac. That's super affordable. $11 million bucks? Yes, I'll take that guy. The 2 other names that kind of jump off the page are Amari Cooper and Nelson Aguilar. But again, Cooper, 30 years old. Aguilar, 31 years old. And these are guys who are physically kind of the same guy that you already have. Amari Cooper, 6'1", 211. Nelson Aguilar, 6 foot, 200. After that, it is just a big drop-off in productivity. DJ Chark, Tyler Boyd, Brandon Powell, Chris Connolly, Jamison Crowder, Deontay Hardy, Gunnar Olszewski, Allen Robinson, Colin Johnson. You understand the point. Like, there's those first 3 and then a massive drop-off after that. So if you're picking among the first 3, there's a very obvious one. The guy that's big, productive, and knows this coaching staff. You got to go sign Keenan Allen. I would have loved it if they would have drafted. And I've been sitting here pounding the table saying you got to get younger and more affordable. But you also, if you're going to try to move forward with these young quarterbacks, you have to give them tools with which to work so you can properly evaluate. Get them another receiver. Keenan Allen makes sense. Do it. All right, it's after further review. Well, now I got a quick break. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com to learn more about, if you have ED, they have a plethora of different treatments, hormone replacement therapy, even anti-aging treatments like NAD+. Learn more at yourgoodwood.com. All right, Saints did add a crop of undrafted free agents. Among them is former Kansas State offensive lineman Easton Kilty. He'll join us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Spring is here, y'all. The greenhouses are bursting with blooms over at Clegg's Nursery. So what are you waiting on, man? Get on by Clegg's, any of the 4 locations, Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every single day to buy local and shop local over at Clegg's Nursery. Yes, you can check out their Facebook page. Every time they have new blooms, new plants, new arrivals, they do a great job of putting that on all their social media so you can see them. But remember, they also have everything else you need, all the accessories. You want tuned wind chimes? They got that. You need welcome mats? They got that. You need all your gardening supplies? They've got that. Mulch, soil, bag, bulk, they got it. You need things to keep the pests away, like the Aeon mosquito barrier I tell you all the time about. Ant pile killer, mosquito killer, weeds for your lawn. They got it all for you. So buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Hey, that a boy, Muse. Okay. I thought you'd ease into it with Alive, with Even Flow, Ledbetter. I thought you'd ease into it with something obvious.
No. I mean, well, we went to the 10 album. This is the first song on the album.
You don't even know. Well, you know the name of the song because you're playing it.
Yeah, once.
Once upon a time. Love Pearl. Yeah, so fired up. I'm 72 hours away from Pearl Jam at Jazz Fest. I couldn't be more excited. I wonder if Easton Kilty is a Pearl Jam fan. He's a member of the New Orleans Saints now. Second team All Big 12 at Kansas State this past year after starting his career at the University of North Dakota. Easton Kilty now signs with the Saints as an undrafted free agent. Good enough to join us for a couple minutes here. Hey, Easton, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing awesome. Are you a Pearl Jam fan by any chance?
I can't say that I am. No.
That's all right, man. No worries. No worries. We can't all be perfect, but we're excited to have you a member of the Black and Gold. Hey, you got to play in New Orleans this year when Kansas State played at Tulane. You all had a pretty big comeback in that game. Thoughts on the city? Was that your first time ever in New Orleans?
Yeah, that was my first time in New Orleans, and we actually drove past the Superdome as we were going to the game, so it was cool to see that experience.
Yeah, man. What was your thoughts? I know you don't get a lot of time out and about, but did you have any experience in the city maybe that you drew from whenever the draft came and went and the Saints called?
Not in the city, but I know our pregame meal and like our dinner that night that a lot of the food was pretty spicy. So I mean, I got that hint from being in New Orleans for a short period of time.
Yeah, man, you're not gonna have a hard time finding a good meal in New Orleans with a lot of spicy food. Hey, let's talk a little bit about. I want to talk about your football journey, but let's start with how all the draft went. Did you have a lot of contact with the Saints before the draft?
Yeah, I was talking to their O-line coach a little bit before the draft started, just with like pre-draft stuff, like sending videos over to him and stuff. But when the draft started, or on the third day of the draft, I really didn't have much contact with him. But then he ended up calling me towards the 6th and 7th round, just like obviously talking and like with free agency, if I was going to be a free agent, to obviously just sign with the Saints or have them as an option with my other options in free agency.
Yeah, man, I know, having done this as long as I have, how that process goes as soon as the draft ends, right? I mean, it is a free-for-all, and you maybe have like 10, 15 minutes to make your decision. So if you would, man, so round 7 closes. Walk me through that process if you would. Like, how many calls did you get? How did you ultimately make the decision? How did all that go?
Yeah, so my agent was negotiating. So I was down to the Bills, Jets, and Saints, and it was all just looking at where the best fit was for me. And it was just crazy because I had like O-line coaches from those organizations calling me just to say like we could really use you here and stuff, and like stuff like that. But yeah, it ultimately just came down to fit, and just knowing that the Saints could provide me with a great opportunity for the best chance for me to make the team and obviously grow as a player.
Hey, man, if you and Easton Kilty from Kansas State, Saints offensive lineman, join us now. What was it about the fit in New Orleans that was better than the Bills and the Jets, as those were your final three?
Yeah, I think it's just the coach and everything, and just the roster that they have. I think I have like the best shot to obviously make the team. And I know I don't know, for Ryan Ramczyk, he's from this area where I'm from, and I just know it's a great organization with the new coaching staff. And I knew of their O-line coach, and I know he's a great O-line coach. And I think it's just a good fit for me to be able to continue my football career.
When do you get to come down to New Orleans? When's I guess rookie minicamp would be your first opportunity, yeah?
Yeah, so I got a flight down there on the 8th, and then rookie minicamp's the next 2 days. So I'll be down there for a month, I think, when I get down to New Orleans.
Let's talk a little bit about your football journey, if we could. You were, as you mentioned, you're from Wisconsin and ended up at North Dakota. What was your high school recruitment like that landed you there at with the Sioux, right? That's University of North Dakota, the Sioux, right? Yeah. What was your recruitment like that landed you there?
Yeah, so I was, believe it or not, I was only like 200 pounds my junior year of high school, so I wasn't really recruited until my junior year going into senior year. So I went to a bunch of camps that summer, and eventually ended up getting a bunch of Division II offers from Minnesota schools like Mankato and Bemidji State. Then ultimately I ended up going to North Dakota camp, and that was my first FCS offer, and that was the only Division I offer I had at the time. So I ended up taking that, and obviously going with that, and then obviously the rest is history.
You played in 51 career games. You became a great FCS lineman there and gave yourself an awesome opportunity to jump into the Power 5 at a place like Kansas State. What was it ultimately about Kansas State that had you choose them out of the portal? I think we might have lost him there. I don't know if you could still hear me. I'm not sure if you heard me, East. I was curious, like, what was it about Kansas State that made you choose them out of the portal?
Yeah. I'm here.
So I take that down if you would. I think we just got a little. I think we maybe have a little delay there, a little latency, which is causing that right there. So we'll see if we can maybe. I don't know if you want to just get recap. I think that's what's going on. I think he's just got probably like about a 10-second delay or something right there. That latency was building. So apologize for that. There's a couple more things I want to ask about his football journey if we can reconnect with him. That's Easton Kilty out from Kansas State, good enough to join us. Brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Remember, gents.
Easton, can you hear me? Easton, can you hear me?
9 locations, 2 in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. No matter your budget, they got something for you.
You can hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
When you left North Dakota and went into the portal, what was it about Kansas State that attracted you there?
Yeah, so I knew Chris Kleiman and their staff was from North Dakota State. So their whole staff came from NDSU, and I know what NDSU is about, and they're great at their O-line coach there, Conor Riley. He was great at developing O-linemen. I knew it was a perfect fit for me. I knew I had 1 year left, and that was the best spot for me to develop as a player and spend my last year eligibility.
And you went from 200 pounds to 307. It's what they got you listed at the Kansas State websites. You played tackle in college? You more of a tackle or a guard? Oh man, I think we're probably just have a little latency. It's okay. Let me just say thanks to Easton, and we'll move. I don't know why we're having a little trouble there with the stream, so I apologize for that. But that's,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, you're back, Easton. If you heard my question, the one more I had was, are you more of a tackle or a guard? Oh, well, that's all right. Go ahead. You can go ahead and take it down. Thanks. Okay. Thanks to Easton. We'll see. Maybe we can reconnect another time, maybe closer to rookie minicamp. But a little trouble with the connection. Sorry about that. But it's always interesting with the UDFAs because, and I'm always fascinated by them because it's not like the draft now where a team does invest capital, right, into a draft pick. But the UDFA gets to pick the team. And generally, they're going to pick, you heard him say it, it was Bills, Jets, Saints. You're going to pick the team where you feel like you got the best opportunity to make the team. And look at what happened in New Orleans last year with the injuries, with the turnover, with now the necessity of drafting another first-round offensive lineman. I mean, we see this in New Orleans. You will have UDFAs make the team. And you'll have guys that were maybe late-round picks like Landon Young make the team. I mean, Saints invested a 4th-round pick in Nick Saldiferi, and that has been a challenge for him. And if Easton's guy, that's why I wanted to ask him a question about tackle or guard, because if he's versatile and can do both, that just makes you an even more valuable offensive lineman. Like the Saints went and added Will Clapp back in this offseason. He's an interior guy that can play both. But if you got a guy in Kilty who can play guard and tackle, and they like him a lot, has good athleticism, isn't that even like the Trevor Penning story too? Where remember, like we learned Penning. Remember we all saw the high school picture of Trevor Penning, where he's this kind of a small, skinny guy, and then he kept growing and building. So I say it all the time, man. Some guys, they show up in college at 18 years old and they're not physically mature. By the time they leave college, that's when they hit their kick, and it seems like that's happened here with Easton Kilty. So we'll keep an eye on as he's in town for Saints rookie minicamp. All right, it is after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. The LSU, another guy similar, is someone who the LSU Tigers right now are pursuing in the transfer portal. They may just have the lead. We'll tell you about A.J. Halsey when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
DuplessisBuilders.net. That's the website you can check out, DuplessisBuilders.net, or you can go to the showroom on Airline Highway in Gonzales at the corner of Airline and Duplessis Lane. Love telling you about our friends over at Duplessis Builders. Because, man, if you were thinking about building a pool, I mean, why would you call anybody else? I mean, you can go look at Instagram and you can see a lot of beautiful pictures of pools. There's a lot of pool builders that all have beautiful pictures on their Instagram. And Duplessis Builders is no different. But the difference with Duplessis Builders is the craftsmanship. And that's not just a throwaway line. I tell you all the time, Derek is an engineer by trade. He's got his degree in mechanical engineering from LSU with a minor in aerospace engineering. And he takes that engineering background and applies it to your entire pool build. You can go to the website, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Hit the Your Book tab at the top. You read about their entire process right there. That's why they offer a 10-year workmanship warranty. duplessisbuilders.net.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the 2025 Jeep Compass Sport for only $23,995. $23,995 or 2025 Jeep Compass with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
There's a rolling butterfly. Woo. Let's go. Hey, Muse.
Yeah.
You may have to bail me out of New Orleans City Jail on Saturday.
Okay.
I might jump on stage. I might climb the scaffolding. I mean, I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
So
you may have to come bail me out.
I don't think I'd be your first call.
You're
but
right. You're right.
If I were, I'd find a way to make it happen for you, Scott.
My first call would probably be my brother-in-law Jeff, but he's gonna be with me.
So he'd probably be next to you.
He's probably gonna be next.
Yeah, that's what they always say, right? The difference between a friend and a good friend and a best friend. Your best friend's sitting right there next to you in jail.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Otter Locks in about 10 minutes. Well, as the portal turns, apparently LSU is not done. And we're keeping an eye on A.J. Huly. Might have heard of this by now, but A.J. Huly is a very interesting portal target because this is a guy who's from the University of Houston who has started 33 games over the last 3 years. He showed up at the University of Houston as a 3-star, lightly regarded. If you go look at his recruiting profile, A.J. Huly was ranked the number 1,513 prospect in America. You can pull this up, Paul. He was a 3-star. He was number, like I'm going to zoom in. Those are his rankings. Number 1513 national, the number 124 safety, and the 221st best player out of the state of Texas. So this was a guy that was lightly regarded out of Missouri City in the Houston area. He goes to the University of Houston. Bam! 3-year starter, starts 33 games. Now he's in the portal, ready to play his final season of eligibility. And oh, by the way, as a transfer portal prospect, he is, let's see, in the portal, he is the number 31 player in the portal. Zoom in on this, Paulie. He's the number 31 player in the portal and the number 2 safety. I'd say that's a pretty rapid ascent for our friend Mr. Huly. Yeah. When you look at LSU, and we talked about it so much last season, I actually kind of felt bad a little bit about it because it felt like every Monday press conference I was asking Brian Kelly about the safety play. I was finding another indirect way to ask him about the safety play, which was awful. I mean, you were terrible at safety a year ago. And you went and added to Marcus Cooley. And you've got Jordan Gilbert coming back. And in fairness, remember, Gilbert separated his shoulder last year. He played with a harness on his shoulder the whole year. He's basically playing with one arm. So a healthy Jordan Gilbert is going to be a better Jordan Gilbert, okay? But you got Tamarcus Cooley out of the portal, Gilbert, and then guys like Spears and Toviano and Joel Rogers and guys you hope take a step forward, but it's an unknown. And if you are all in this year, as LSU certainly financially is all in. I mean, they have done financially with their roster this year in the portal what Ohio State and Ole Miss did a year ago. It is chips to the center. And those two are a great illustration of the dichotomy of how a season can go. Ole Miss lost 3 games it had no business losing and missed the playoff. Ohio State lost 2 games but figured it out by the playoff and won the national championship. So if you're LSU and you got the money to spend and there's someone in the portal that can make you better, you go get them. So A.J. Huly would certainly qualify. A little more context on Huly, just so you understand like the caliber of player that we're talking about. Look at Pro Football Focus, and as we always say, Pro Football Focus is a metric. It's not the metric. It's just something to consider. Well, A.J. Huly, this past season, 2024, his Pro Football Focus defensive grades. His overall defensive grade was an 80.5. His coverage grade was an 85.5. Run defense 73, tackling 67, pass rush 63. That wasn't his strength. But his overall defensive grade was an 80.5. I want you to remember that. His overall defensive grade was an 80.5. If we look at the LSU safeties, from this past season, from Pro Football Focus. It tells a very different story. And forgive me, I just closed out of the stupid chart. Give me a second. I'm going to get it back up here in just a second. But remember, said it again, 80.5 was Huly's grade. If we look at the LSU safeties from this past season, here you go. Your highest rated safety was Sage Ryan at 69.9. Sage Ryan's no longer here. After Sage Ryan, Kylan Jackson, 66.5. Jordan Allen, 62.8. Deshaun Spears, 61.1. Y'all. Austin Osbury, 60.0. Toviano, 57.8. Major Burns, 57.7. Jordan Gilbert, 53.2. You get my point? Halsey graded out at an 80.5. Your best guy was Sage Ryan at 69.9. Go ask the average LSU fan what they think about Sage Ryan. You're kind of laughing at Ole Miss for taking him. Anyway, point is, yes, A.J. Halsey is a dramatic upgrade from everything you had last year. And he started 33 games. What did we say about portal guys? You're not just going to add numbers. If there's a guy that's been a multi-year starter at a major school that makes you immediately better, you go get him. And very clearly, this is an indication of a guy at the position that was your worst position on defense a year ago, who's been a 3-year starter, who was graded higher by Pro Football Focus than every single safety that you had a year ago, and you can add him with Tamarcus Cooley and Jordan Gilbert and all the young guys in a year where you are all in and this guy makes you better, yep, you go get him. By the way, this was Shea Dixon from On 3 on AFR talking about Halsey on Tuesday.
I can say right now the only guy they are actively recruiting in the portal is a safety, A.J. Halsey, who played at Houston this past year and put up really good numbers. I think they also like the safety room a good bit, but you add a guy like Halsey, yeah, that boosts the room. Now, Matt, I'll say Miami has had him on campus Monday. Zach Etheridge was his coach at Houston as a DB coach last year. He's now the corner coach at Miami, so they've got a bit of a connection there. Ole Miss is still on him, but from talking to people in the past 24 hours, it seemed like this one was shifting away from LSU, and now LSU feels like, oh, wait, we've continued to talk with the Halsey camp, and we might have a shot here. So I think this one's going to come down to LSU or Miami.
Halsey visited Ole Miss, left without committing. Visited Miami. By the way, he posted on his Twitter last night a shot of him doing the U hand signal. But he left Miami without committing. His On-3 NIL valuation, by the way, is north of $400,000. I was told today LSU's going north of that number in their offer. What a difference a year makes when a year ago Brian Kelly stood at a podium and said, we're not in the business of buying players. 1 year later, LSU is very much in the business of buying players. And I ain't saying there's a damn thing wrong with that. That's how the game is played. You want to win, you want to build your roster to championship level, you spend. It's how the game is played. And they're playing the game, and right now they're playing it better than anyone. And if you're willing to go that high, yeah, you're in it here. There's also a video on social media of that Halsey put on his Instagram. It's him getting a police escort around Miami. I mean, I'm sure this dude had a really good time rolling around South Beach in a drop top on a beautiful sunny day. But if LSU's coming with the dollar bills and an opportunity to be a starter right away on a team that's competing for a national championship, it don't matter if you got pretty water and high-rise buildings. Baton Rouge got more to offer right now. We'll see what that decision is, but it sounds like it's going to come down to LSU and Miami. And the fact that he left Miami without committing speaks volumes. Stay tuned. We'll have an update when we do. A.J. Halsey, safety out of the University of Houston. Could LSU land one more portal commitment? We'll find out. All right, it's After Further Review. We are brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. By the way, my buddy Brad Bove over at South Point texted me just yesterday. They're in the final days of the Volkswagen Deal Days. It's going on right now over at South Point Volkswagen, and you can save huge right now. All the deets are at the website, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. It's the Volkswagen Deal Days. They're in the final days. How about 2025 Jetta Sport for $22,995? 2025 Cross Sport, the Atlas Cross Sport, which is what I drive, $34,985. The Taos FWD, $23,998. That's the compact SUV. The Atlas 2.0 Sport Edition, $35,995. Great time to get on by South Point Volkswagen and shop. the best deals, the lowest prices, the best selection from Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, y'all, it is after further review. We'll knock out a final break of the show. Y'all will come back. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. It's a hump day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We'll wrap up with Jimmy when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, graduation is upon us, man. I know my niece is graduating from St. Joseph's Academy. Shout out Reese Anderman. Here in a few weeks. Got family coming in town for graduation. Make sure they know they can stay downtown at the Watermark, Southtown at the Renaissance, two amazing hotel properties. Of course, the Watermark, Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. You can actually walk to the River Center. If graduation is at the River Center, you walk to the River Center from Watermark. Baton Rouge's premier hotel property right there on 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. The old Louisiana National Bank building, which they've added so many great modern amenities. Everything you could possibly want. Maybe graduation is at LSU or Southern. Easy. You're smack dab between the two of them. Stay at the Watermark. Quick, easy drive to Baton Rouge, to LSU or to Southern's campus. And remember also the Renaissance. Right there on Bluebonnet near I-10, sprawling 13,000 square foot of meeting space with all the amenities as well. Check it out. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Bayou Ford is taking 15 to 20% off all new 2024 models in stock. 15 to 20% off all new 2024 Ford models on our lot. Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
Betting on tonight, time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance. Now's the time to get that AC unit checked before it really gets hot. Normally $179, just $79 when you mention Otter Locks. Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Good, man. How about you?
Fired up that Tyrese Halliburton's dad got to act like a moron after the game.
What a dumbass. I mean,
Come on, man.
I was just glad the Pacers covered, man. How about it? That was a great in-game bet. Love it.
Damage control, my boy. Damage control. So
That plus 110 was nice.
We will take it. Let's go to the NBA tonight, and we're going to go with the Rockets here. Previous series, these Golden State Warriors have kind of exhaled in this spot. Jimmy Butler's ailing. He managed to got through it. Went perfect for the line in that great game on Monday night. But, man, their history, their injury status, this seems like an exhale spot for the Golden State Warriors. They're taking the Rockets minus the 3.5 or 4, depending on what it is right now.
It's 4.
Okay. Minnesota T-Wolves. This is another spot where they did exhale in that game, too. I'm not so sure if they're going to do that one. Those were not easy wins. Could have lost both of those games at home in games 3 and 4 where they took a 3-1 lead. But I just think that it's going to be a more focused effort here. We know about the Lakers starters. All of them played all 24 second-half minutes in Game 4. Well, this just in. They're getting killed in the fourth quarter. If it's close, Minnesota could steal this thing and clinch it. I just think that's too big of a number here. It was 6 earlier today, up as much as 6.5. I've seen some 5.5 now.
It's 5.5 right now, yeah.
This line is dancing around a little bit.
Okay.
Take the 5.5. White Sox, you got to have some onions to get on them, but, man, the guy throwing for the White Sox tonight is tough, man. Plus money at home against a weak lineup. This is I like the White Sox. We're not going to. Got to pick your spots. Hey, the Braves won today. Why can't the White Sox win today as well? We're going to take them plus 136.
All right, White Sox on the money line.
Mets against Arizona. This is for Mets, the best team since the start of the Major League season. And this is a cheap line at home, basically a pick 'em minus 108 at home. This is all about Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns isn't what he used to be. It's just that simple. But he's still getting respect from the odds makers. It's a much better team. Pitching's a wash at home. Mets in a big way tonight, minus a very cheap number.
All right, Rockets minus the 4. T-Wolves plus 5.5. The White Sox on the money line. The Mets on the money line. Oh, you got an NHL play as well.
Yes. Randy McKay gave us 3 games tonight. Said it's a steep line, the first one, but the Capitals, he said, put them in a parlay if you want. Why not put them with the Mets in that one? But the Capitals, again, the big number, but still, yes, put them in a parlay. He likes the Lightning at home. Lightning, basically a pick 'em at home, facing elimination, down 3-1. The teams down 3-1 really responded, both the NBA and the NHL last night. And then he's going to St. Louis Blues. This series is tied up at 2 apiece. Blues have been more than competitive against the 1 seed, the Jets. He thinks that's too big of a number. He's going with the Blues, the Lightning, and the Capitals.
All right, the Blues are plus 145 on the money line. So, busy night. Where are you tomorrow?
We are at Los Reyes Mexican Grill, kind of getting ready for that Cinco de Mayo thing around the corner on Monday.
Love it, man. Have a great show. Good luck tonight, Otter. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, it is after further review. Hey, quick reminder, if you drive down I-10 at Highland in Baton Rouge, you'll see the Parish Construction and Roofing Office. And all this week, the 5 beautiful white vehicles are there for that 5-car giveaway. Part of the Driving the Future giveaway benefiting Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. We at Parish Construction and Roofing are thrilled to be partnered with our friends over at Our Lady of the Lake. And so we're encouraging you to make sure you get your tickets for Driving the Future. 5 cars, 5 winners. Someone's going to drive away in a brand new vehicle. And we're thrilled to be partnered with them there over at Parish Construction and Roofing. Love to be community involved in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Lafayette, and all over the state of Louisiana. We tell you all the time, do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales and Trent Davis and our great staff over at Parish. We'd love to help you out. You know, Matt Pearson, who's our commercial roofing manager, we hired him about a year ago out of the state of Florida. There's not a soul that I've met that knows more about commercial roofing than Matt Pearson. So it doesn't matter how big or small your job. We'd love to help you. Ever in gutter crew. We do soft washing as well. So everything in-house, under one roof. We'd love to help you out at Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. If you're driving down I-10 at Highland, you see the big Parish Construction and Roofing sign directly across from Blue Bayou Water Park. Give us a honk. You'll see the 5 beautiful cars out there as well. for Driving the Future, all benefiting Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. Thrilled to be a partner with our friends over at the lake and Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. Parish Construction and Roofing. Visit parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all, it's just about going to do it for us here. If you missed anything, you can catch AFR on demand. Big shout out and thanks to Havon Finney Sr., who was here in hour number 1. Tony Catalina of the Catalina Wine Mixer, now the Austin American Statesman, was here in hour 2 talking some Texas A&M baseball. Ross Dellinger was here. New Orleans Saints undrafted free agent offensive lineman Easton Kilty was here. If you miss anything, you can catch it on demand at 1045ESPN.com, YouTube, or wherever you get podcasts. Muse Pauly, thanks. Have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Hey, as we get on down the road, let me take 60 seconds to remind you about our friends at First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. That's firstsouthland.com. Firstsouthland.com. Tax season is come and gone here with April 15th a few weeks ago, and it's a great reminder when it comes time to pay Uncle Sam, you're always looking for tax benefits. And as a landowner, you will incur expenses, and a lot of times owning land is tax deductible. So ask your CPA the benefits of owning recreational timber land. Land is a finite resource. It is never going down in value. We know that, right? Terrio talks about it all the time. They ain't making more dirt. So you want to get you some, First South Farm Credit can help. If it's 100 acres to build your family's dream home, 200 acres for your hunting property, 1,000 acres for agriculture, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the